Hey, this is Jamey with Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in Enchanted Plumes. This is a game where you are essentially assembling peacocks, which, I don't know, may sound a little odd, but it turns out to have a beautiful look on the table as you create these peacocks, especially since after you're done playing all these beautiful plumage cards, you finish it off with a peacock card at the base of it. It's a little hard to show here, but it looks, I guess, a little bit like this, although there are multiple tiers of the card. So it's really clever that they made the back of the card, there we go, they made the back of the card the head of the peacock itself. Really clever, I think, artistic direction there. There's some really clever things happening in this game. The core idea of it is that you have some cards in hand and there's some cards on the table that you can pick from. And at the beginning of your turn, you can play one or two cards into a peacock on your table that isn't complete. So a peacock that you haven't already played this card on. So I might have this 0, which would be a great card to play for a reason I'll mention in a second. Play this 0 to the top row of the peacock, or the current row of the peacock. You can't place them on multiple rows until you've kind of finished each subsequent row. I'm describing this very poorly. Feel free to check out a video that explains the full rules of it. But basically, say I create a peacock where the top row looks like this. When I'm ready to start moving down and assembling the bottom rows of this peacock, I must use cards of the same color. There are 10 different suits, 10 different colors in this game in the row beneath it. So you're always looking at the row directly above, and those are the colors available to you in the rows that you create below. The really clever thing here, I think, in my opinion, is the flexibility of the game. At any time, you can start working on a different peacock. You could have I don't know, potentially maybe 5, 6, 7 peacocks going at a time. But the game incentivizes you to not necessarily do that, but you still have the flexibility to do so. The way the game incentivizes you to do this is through two things. One, for every peacock that you actually complete at the end of the game, here's a complete peacock, you get 1 point per card in that peacock. So it kind of gives you a reason to not only complete peacocks, but make big peacocks. I really like this, notably, because the game isn't punishing you for not completing a peacock. For example, I think it would have been an easy game design decision to say, okay, you haven't completed this peacock, you get no points at all. Like especially if there's, say, that it looked a little bit more like this, for a reason that I'll explain in a second. So say it looked a little bit more like this, the game might say, you don't get any points at all for that peacock. Instead of saying that, it says, no, we're going to reward you if you do complete the peacock. That's part one of it. The other part is that the top row of each peacock are negative points. And so it gives you a reason to not only just start a bunch of peacocks with only one row, because those will just be negative points. Instead, it's giving you a reason to place value and place low value cards in the top row of whether it's your main peacock or some other side peacocks that you're working on, and then get down to the second row, because if you end the game and you only have a single row, that is your top row, those are negative points. So at the very least, you might want to place one more card here so that this becomes the top row and you score points for every card beneath it. A lot of flexibility there. I really like how this has you value the different card numbers. So here's an 8 right here. So this is, I wouldn't want to place the 8 in the top row, but I would want to place it lower down so that I can score a bunch of points for it. And this 0 is great in the top row because it's 0 negative points for being in the top row. Yeah, I'm jumping around a lot in this video, but as you can tell, I had a lot of fun playing this game, and it was very easy to teach and learn, and I can definitely see myself playing it quite a bit in the future. That is Enchanted Plumes. If any of these mechanisms remind you of another game that you've played, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that game in the comments below. Or if you've played Enchanted Plumes and you have a favorite mechanism in this game, I'd love to hear about that as well. Thanks.